Good morning, everybody. We'll get started here shortly. Just giving everybody a chance to get logged on, read their emails. Happy Saturday, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Any big learning things from the last couple of days? This is our day 3 of tape breakdowns. We had 2 large non-performing lists the last 2 days. A little crossover. Today is basically all performing stuff. All right, so that's good to go. I'm just cleaning up my browser a little bit and then we'll get live here in just a second. Okay, you're looking good, I think. Good morning, everybody. Let me hit the record button and we'll get started here. Good morning, investors. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a special Saturday live stream of a performing tape of notes. Hopefully, you've got your coffee. Hopefully, you're ready to rock and roll today. We've got some decent assets we'll go through. I haven't really looked at this tape that much. So I actually kind of relied on my virtual assistant to help with a lot of information that I'll be sharing with you. But I always like to do these kind of things. It's a great way to help you guys kind of see what we look at, what I'm looking at, help you ask some questions we're going through. I do encourage questions, whether you're here live on the Zoom or live on the YouTube live stream or you're catching the replays. Feel free to ask questions. As always, you can always book a call with me by going to talkwithscottcarson.com. Encourage you to do that. If you're looking to bid on some performing notes, that's great. Make sure you drop me an email. I may have some opportunities for you, whether these or some funding opportunities with myself or some of our one-on-one coaching students. But really excited to have you guys here on Saturday. I know I've got this penciled in for 3 hours. It may not take 3 hours to go through this, but I promise I would at least do that when I scheduled this starting Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We went 3 hours on Thursday with 292. We went just over 3 hours yesterday with 172. And then also today, who knows what we'll go through. So we've got a lot of great stuff here. But one of the things that I like to do, let me make sure I enable the chat so you guys can ask questions along the way. I forgot to do that a second ago, so that's easy to fix. Is always like to see where you guys are joining us from. I know I think look like we've got somebody from Miami, we've got somebody from Washington State. Where is everybody joining us from on this Saturday? Hopefully the weather's nice for you, whether that's a nice sunny morning this year, but brisk, about 45 degrees, feels like 38 during my morning walk today. So it was a little bit nippy, but got in my my 5K walk this morning. So I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, a couple cups of coffee in me, ready to dive in this. But anyway, guys, as we go through the specifics of this stuff, let me give you a little bit of, here's a bit of a map so you can kind of see the breakdown of where these assets are located. Like I said, there's all across the country for the most part. Not quite anything on the West Coast, which is okay, but we do have some borrowers that are living on the West Coast. I did look at kind of the addresses here. when we map these things. And I just mapped this a few minutes, and somebody asked me, man, how do you make these maps? Really easy. There's a tool we called Batch Geo. That's BATCHGEO.com. It allows for you to, as long as you copy paste over the headers in a spreadsheet along with the addresses, you can map everything up to 250 assets for free. It does it in seconds, and then it sends you a link, and then we just do a screen grab on the actual map there. But one of the greatest tools that we love, and it's free for everybody out there. So, but to give you a bit of a breakdown of stuff, some specifics of today's tape that we're going through. I only have the information on the spreadsheet. I don't have pricing specifications. The seller wouldn't give me that. They're basically highest and best. But to give you a bit of an idea, these are small balance residential and commercial loans. But commercial loans, I'll talk about that in a second. It may not be on a commercial property, but it is to a commercial borrower. There's anyway from a small balance of $10,000 to $137,000 outstanding debt. All right. Some of these are mature defaults where they just matured and they're still paying, but the balloon kicked in and they didn't refinance them out. It's an opportunity for you to maybe take over some decent assets. A lot of these, some of these, I mean, especially on the commercial loans, it's rental properties for the most part, where the seller owner financed it to an LLC. But there are some that have a long remaining term, 45-year remaining terms, which I was like, woo, that's a bit of a while. But the great thing is, like I said, it's individual borrowers and investor LLCs. There are several investors on here who have multiple notes. I know it's based on the mailing addresses and the LLC names. Okay, so you have an opportunity maybe to pick up a portfolio. These are all serviced with a major servicing company. You can cherry pick these. The seller is allowing loan level pricing. And to get access, you got to be part of our WCN membership, and that's really easy. That's our monthly $97 a month plan. Training, tapes, weekly coaching calls on Mondays at noon, all the replays to our virtual workshops, our note weekends. It's just really the biggest bang for the buck in the note industry, as people say. And you can get signed up really easy at noteumbrella.com. So if you want to put some money to work or start looking at some tapes, hey, here's kind of the easy spot, because we uploaded these 3 tapes that we've gone through the past couple of days directly into our Basecamp group, and everybody's been able to take a look. You'd be surprised. We upload tapes all the time, and people forget about them because they're just busy with life. But we're here to help you. And I'd love to know if you guys, I mean, obviously you're joining me on a Saturday, but if you really like me taking the time to spend at least one day a month going through a tape, let me know. I think this is something that we're going to continue doing on a monthly basis. We might swap this out and do this on the 3rd Saturday of the month, or depending on what's available. Sometimes, like, these tapes came in on Sunday of last week, so bids were due Friday, and so when we knew we couldn't get them all done in just a timely fashion, so we'll be submitting some bids off of this tape later today, if not on Monday, just because the sellers, we've got a really great relationship with that seller, and some great stuff there. But anyway, if you want to get signed up really easy for our WC membership, it's noteumbrella.com, or book a call with me at talkwithscottcarson.com. We'll be glad to go from there. Don says, absolutely do these. I have a call scheduled with you on Wednesday. Awesome, Don. Looking forward to talking with you on Wednesday. I don't know if you got my email, but I did respond back to your email when you sent it to me. I think Thursday night. It may have been after hours or whatever like that. But yeah, looking forward to talking with you on Wednesday, man. All right. So one of the things that I did with this tape, because it was a smaller tape and we had a little bit more time with this, is I actually gave the list, the 66 list assets, to my virtual assistant. I said, listen, Roxy, can you go out there and help me out with this? Let's help visualize this a little bit more on the front end. Can you go out there and pull street views or Zillow views or Google views from these addresses? So she did on the majority of what she could find. So I thought we'd go through and get a bit of an idea what some of these properties look like. Now, some of these could be current photos. Some of these are obviously older photos based on the condition of property. And when I look at the picture online here really fast a few minutes ago, I could see, okay, this is an older photo. It probably doesn't represent the current condition of the property. So take that with a grain of salt. Some of these loans have been originated probably after these photos were taken. Some of these are in rural areas, which is okay, or smaller communities, which, Google's not sending out their Street View guy every year like they are in other cities. So keep that in mind. But this is a duplex in Springfield, Ohio. It's one of the first ones we'll look at. This is a single family there in Toledo, Ohio. This is, I don't know why this one is showing up. This is not a performing note. We've looked at this twice a couple of times, but maybe it's on the list and maybe it isn't. Winchester, Kentucky. This one is a nice, I like this little asset. You can see how much pride of ownership this borrower has. This one is in Hickory, Mississippi, a little bit rural. I don't know if it's a land or there's probably, we'll do some research once they go through the list. This one's in a nice looking property there in Brunswick, Georgia. Another one in Americus, Georgia. This one in Kingman, Arizona. A single wide. This one in American Falls, Idaho. It's a good looking property there. Look at that big porch on a decent lot. This one here's in China, Texas, a little bit. Oh yeah, we did look at this one a little bit. Anyway, 65 Columbia Avenue, Fairfield, Maine. Looks like it's a double wide. This one's looks like a single wide in Pineville, Louisiana. This one's off of Highway 61 in New Bern, Alabama. A nice little red brick home. This one's in St. Albans, West Virginia. Looks like a home, a little older home. This is obviously one of those older photos from Indiana. Don't know if there's a lot of the house back there, but we'll do a little bit deeper dive on that. Blackstone, Virginia, a decent looking little house here. New Bern, New Hebron, Mississippi. Don't know if it's a lot or land. We'll take a look at that a little bit. This one's in Sunflower in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Not bad looking little house. This one's in Missouri, Conception Junction. Is decent looking property as well. This one in East Liverpool, Ohio. This looks like a little bit older photo. We'll do a deeper dive into the data on the spreadsheet. Spavinaw, Oklahoma. Definitely some America pride there. The flag out flying there, but single family home. Looks like a double wide here in Saucier, Mississippi. Pretty looking little property. This one in Youngstown, Ohio, single family home. This single wide in Anton, Texas. This one in Bennettsville, South Carolina. It's a nice looking little red brick home. This one in Kentucky, I don't think this is performing, but this is probably, this might be an older photo. I'd be willing to bet that somebody's come in and fixed the property up, and this was just the older photo of it. But we'll take a look at it. If this is the current photo, yeah, not gonna do it. River Road, Michigan. This is a pretty little property there in River Road, Michigan that I think is I like that neck of the woods. Actually got some of my students working on purchasing a note there in the same area. In DeMont, Indiana. This is looks like a single wide. Number 3 is probably on one of 2 or 3 properties on an address. This one in Newport Richey, Florida. Got some of the golf cart there. Single family home, got a lot of that moss on top of the roof. So the house may look a whole lot better with a current photo. This one out of Foxhome, Minnesota. Area view is all my VA could find, but it looks like it might be this house right here that I'm kind of circling on. We'll do a deeper dive on that one. This one in Ada, PA. Kind of a rural thing off the Monongahela River. Say that 3 times fast. This one in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Good looking little property there. This one in Havertown, PA. Another single family home, 2-story house. This one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A little single family home with an RV out there. And that looks like that's a not a motorcycle cage, but a cage for a go-kart. This one in Felton, Delaware. This one kind of also a little rural in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Here's another one in Baltimore, Maryland, a little row home, but doesn't look too bad, depending on what the date of this is. I think it's the middle one, but we'll take a closer look at that. This one in Westover, Maryland, didn't find a good street view of this one, but we'll see. This one in Universal Circle number 2. Yeah, this is one of the, I think we may have looked at this a little bit yesterday on some of those that we thought were pretty close. Number 3 was the house at the back of the road. This one is in Burgaw, North Carolina. Good looking little house. You can see some pride of ownership there with the landscaping and then the Christmas wreath. This one in Decatur, Illinois. Pretty little yellow house. Also some pride of ownership. This one in Frankfort, Kentucky. This one in Birmingham, Alabama. Definitely some pride of ownership with that flag. Bessemer, Alabama. A little older property, but also somebody living in it. This one in Pleasantville, New Jersey. This one I definitely believe is a older photo. I don't think it's a current photo. This one in Country Club Hills, Illinois. A single family home. It might be a duplex, actually. We'll have to take a look at it. This one, Elk City, Oklahoma. I've actually been to Elk City. One of my high school buddies, actually his family's from there, and in college, I've been to Elk City. Been to a wedding in Elk City, Oklahoma. I think it's on the western side of Oklahoma. There's one in Sacramento, Kentucky. 2-story. I think this is a duplex, actually. This one in Brewton, Alabama. This one in Deepwater, Missouri. A nice looking little house. Rocky Mount, North Carolina, another little older house. I think this is an older photo based on the door being locked there. This one in Mobile, Alabama. This one in Enterprise, Alabama. Don't know if it was rain was going on when they took the photo or what it was, but we'll try to find a better photo of that one. This one in Midlothian, Illinois. Nice looking little property. Definitely some pride of ownership there. You got the garden over here on the side, which I always like to see that stuff. This one in Frisco City, Alabama. This one in Heidelberg, Mississippi. Red brick chrome. Sarepta, Louisiana. Definitely some pride of ownership in this one. This one out in McCalla, Alabama, at the end of the road. A little rural. This one in Smith Center, Kansas. I think this might be an older photo. Greenwood, Mississippi. A little single family home. Done some recent work to extend the patio there, it looks like, or the overhang. Wynne, Arkansas. Ozark, Alabama. I think this is an older photo. We'll take a look based on the information on the tape. Orange, Texas. I think it's obviously an older photo. Toledo, Ohio. Definitely an older photo, but not a bad looking little house. West Helena, Arkansas. Looks like definitely the rehab was taking place. So this is, I think, is one of those investor loans where a rehabber came in and fixed up the property. Williamstown, PA. I think it's a 2-story or a duplex. And so that's just gives you a bit of what we could find as far as assets, photos of the properties for the most part. So, when I see stuff, I take it with a grain of salt. We all know that assets can look better or can look worse depending on what's going on. And, what's your strategy? It will also determine, what you bid on. Are you using your own money? Are you using other people's money? We'll go through that aspect of things today on that tape, going through, hey, if you've got money you're splitting costs with, or where should you come in and bid at stuff. I mean, it all varies a little bit. The great thing about performing notes that you'll definitely want to run through is you want to pull out your financial calculator and really start running the numbers through your HP 10B2, especially when you've got a longer term or other things. To really see the ROI. We'll run some quick numbers on stuff for you, but you need to do the due diligence yourself, definitely checking taxes. We'll do a little bit of that run through, figuring out values, and then going from there. So let me pull up the spreadsheet and go from there. Any questions currently from any of you guys out there that are watching live and online? Yeah, always like to know what's your strategy. Is to buy. You're looking for some performing notes for your portfolio. You're looking to invest money into your IRA. You're looking for some higher returns, maybe buy some non-performing stuff. You can get reperforming, or you just want the passivity of it. Also, when you're thinking about performing paper, what kind of yield are you looking for? Are you looking for an 8, 9%, 10% return, 11, 12? If you're using your own funds, it's completely fine with whatever you're looking for, right? If you're using other people's money, you probably got to be at a higher interest rate. If you're going to pay somebody 6%, then you probably need to be at a 12% return. You know what I mean? So let me pull up the spreadsheet and we'll do a deeper dive into this. Okay, so, all right, so let's go through this. Let me clean this up a little bit. Make it a little bit easier to read. Kind of separate this stuff out here. All right, so we have this tape was pulled as of January 25th, so it's literally 17, 18 days old. Loan numbers. Not sure what the process stop code means on this stuff, or the man code. They did give us an investor ID, kind of the number, the investor group. That's basically the fund that owns this. The original loan balance. You can see some stuff was small balance stuff. The original loan date when it was originated. So you can see some of this goes anywhere from 2001, I think is the oldest one that I saw in there. Nope, yeah, 2001, 1999, there's another small one. Yeah, I believe that was the oldest one, is 1999. Maturity date, you can see some of these are good. One of these is kind of definitely matured already. A couple of these matured. 2, 3, 4. One matured just a couple weeks ago. You can see basically if it's an individual investor, an estate, maybe the co-borrower is paying it on behalf of that, or the LLCs. So you've got a good mix of personal and LLC stuff. The delinquency code, you can see the type of loan, conventional without PMI, lease option. Some of these, or commercial loan means it's financed. That means like a true commercial loan, but it's more financed to an LLC. Okay. Next payment due date, you can see a lot of these are, all relatively recent. January, do have a couple Decembers in there, but January, February, even some Marches in there, which is good. So they're all relatively pretty recent. The annual interest rate on this stuff. You have some higher stuff, and you got some lower stuff. If we just do a screen share here, you can see anywhere from 1.9% interest rate. That's really ass low. 2.4, 3%, 3.25, all the way up to 12% on some of these. And of course, yes, when you have those low interest rates like that, you're going to offer up a low amount based on where everything is at these days. Okay. Total monthly payment, that's PITI, the first month, basically the principal and interest, taxes and insurance monthly. Once again, they got city taxes, lien, if there's a lien amount in front of it, usually like a weed lien. Restricted escrow balance, don't really see anything on there. Some of the stuff we're going to get rid of, like this might be 7,000. That might be taxes that aren't paid. Replace reserve amounts, that's usually going to be your insurance. Some of the stuff we're going to go ahead and get hide. Last full payment date, you can see January, February, December, November. Actually, you don't have any Februarys on these because this was pulled January 25th. You can see when it was last analyzed. So compared to last two tapes, a lot of these were analyzed a year or 2 years ago. But some of these have been analyzed relatively recently, January 18th, a week before, January 17th. And you still have some stuff that hasn't been analyzed. 2020, you're talking 3 years of it. The estimated total debt, the first principal balance. Okay. Some of these people have a little bit of arrearages, obviously, but they're back on track, supposedly. Deferred principal balance. Okay. Interest due balance. Some of these people hadn't made payments. Maybe they're back on track now. The property street address. Okay. The mailing address of the investors or the borrowers. You can see some of these were modified, relatively recent. And some of these are still just sitting out there, okay? Lien position, they're all first liens for the most part. There is a couple lease options on here. One, is there a balloon on some of these? Yes. Is there an arm on any of these? Just right now, these are all fixed rate. When the loan was originated, when it matures, and the first payment date. And so you got a lot of the stuff that's automated by the servicing companies. They're an arm and all this rates and adjustments and stuff like that. If the borrower filed bankruptcy in any sort, and you can see that. Interest paid through date. The valuation amount on these things, the values on these vary from $9 grand all the way up to, they say 4.2 million, but that's probably the total amount added up. Yeah, see, there's the total amount added up. Is that? So really from 9 grand to 244,000. Okay. And then you see the occupancy status, property type, number of days past due. So most of these are all going to be less than 60 days, like 55, 24, 000, which is good. Anything been a third party corporate advance, non-recoverable. If there's a foreclosure status, you can see that most of these performing ones, they should not have been, but in some cases, it just gives you that, hey, the file was referred to an attorney a couple years ago and it's been modified. Now these updates, vacant, not secured. We'll take a look at some of the, how, they should, maybe there's currently vacant, maybe it's a rental property. We'll take a look at each one of these individually. Okay. So any questions about what we're showing you guys so far? This all kind of makes sense for you? All right, so as we start breaking this stuff down, what I like to look at, let's go back over here and resort this. If you're really wanting performing notes, there's a couple things I want to do. First, let's just assume, you're buying performing paper, you're happy with performing stuff. I would still get rid of a few states in case if it goes non-performing, like New Jersey, New York. Those are probably a couple states I would get rid of. But depending on where the value is and the equity on these, a lot of these could be pretty nice. So the only thing that concerns me, let me look at these. How many of these lease options do we have? We got one lease option, which might be, depending on where it's at, might be considered a land contract, depending on what state it's in. This is some owner rock, like, oh, this is the single wide in Kingman, Arizona. Let me look over here. Let me look at some more numbers. So, so this is the only, what did I say? This loan is on arm, second mortgage. That would probably be the only one I get rid of. Yeah, we're just going to get rid of that thing. That's eliminated. I don't like seconds. I want to only be behind firsts. Okay. That should solve a lot of issues on some of that stuff there. Okay, so I got rid of one. Let's look at the property, cities, and states. If it's performing, part of your due diligence is to take a look at the payment history. How far behind are they, or how they, what's their last 24 months of payments? The way I like to look at it. Okay, we only have like the one in New Jersey. If you're looking at performing paper, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you still got to worry about state licensing and stuff like that, like Washington State, Oregon. Still got to worry about Georgia, but if you're using your IRA to fund a deal in Georgia, you're okay. So this one's, oh, it's in Pleasantville, New Jersey. I got to love the this to an investor, or is it to an individual? It's a commercial loan, so it's a Karen Thomas. So it's not an owner occupied. It's at 9.9% interest. Original balance was 37,000. Total debt's 49. So it had to have fallen behind at some point. First principal was 32, so they shouldn't be that much. So part of what we look at is loan matures in 8 years. They've had it for 2 years. They shouldn't be behind by 12 grand. He was valued at 37 a couple years ago. Single family detached. Say it's only 24 days past due. So at some point they fell behind. And let's just take a look at it real fast. Obviously, part of it being a performing note, if you're going to be buying performing paper, is to make damn sure that the taxes are paid and that insurance is paid. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. What's this one look like? All right, so let me give you a bit of an idea. This is the one that had the boarded up door in New Jersey. And so if we look at this photo, you see this is July 2018. That is the picture of the property from 5 years ago. Well, going back to our spreadsheet, this loan was originated. Remember, it wasn't originated in 2018. This was originated in 2021, I guess. Yeah, 3 years after the photo was taken. So this might be in really good shape. It may be worth a whole lot more than what it is now. To go back here, let's see, what does Zillow give us as a bit of an idea. See, they only listed at 37,000 because that's what was sold on February of 2021. So you'd still need to do an independent thing, and I'd be willing to bet that the street view is a whole lot better than that one. So I'm not willing to kick that to the curb yet. If we go back here to the spreadsheet, I mean, I don't like New Jersey for the most part, but if you're looking to buy performing paper, when the borrower's has put some work into it, it's worth more than the 37. You might be able to pick up a decent property there. Let's take a look here. I'm going to go over here. What's the 37? It's at a 9.9% interest rate. And next payment due date was January. So they're back on track. $16,000 in escrow advances. I wonder what that's from. Repairs, rehabs, possibly. Taxes. So they 37,000. One thing we need to do is insert a column here and say, hey, where's the value at? Where do they figure the value on the C? Valuation only says 37. But that valuation date is from when it was originated. So it's not an accurate valuation. So you probably got some, let's do this one other thing. Let's go back here. Let's look at one other thing. I'm glad I brought this up. So it's 9.9% interest. This is see, Zillow gives it a value somewhere in around 200,000 on this house if it's been repaired, which could make sense. Okay. So this is 1,984 square feet. So it could be 220. It could be quite a bit of value to this thing. The single family. Somebody bought it off of pre-REO for 37. So they put some work into it. So, if you could pick this note up and it's worth 200 and you're picking up at 37 or below, I'm not going to pay par for this. Okay. So let's go back here and let's run some formulas. I'm not willing to kick it to the curb yet because some people might like that up yet. Now, non-performing would automatically be kicked to the curb because it's in New Jersey. All right. But since it is performing, and relatively current. We still got to ask, why is it 49? Maybe they paid some taxes. Maybe it was a longer loan with a rehab cost to it. So let's do this. Let's go over here. And since we've got a few of these, let's go through here. So let's do, all right, first P&I amount. We're going to highlight that in green because we're going to need that number. And we're going to say 12 months P&I. Plus, if there's a ton of equity, heck, maybe they can get you refinanced out to with a hard money lender. Okay. Aqua Properties LLC. Okay. She's got a couple properties on here. Okay. Now, what pre-REO is kind of famous for is they've got a financing option that if you, they'll give you financing if you're buying something off their platform at 75% to the purchase price, as long as you bring 25% down. So that's kind of their thing. Some of these may be that pre-REO stuff, which is okay. Hey, you pick up something that's decent, but it's at 9.9%. It should be. It's probably a little bit higher than that. Okay, so we got that 12-month there of cash flow, and it's really easy if you want to figure. What I like to do is just do. We're going to do some stuff in here. So let's say if you want to make, because most of these, so you want to make a 10% return. Let's do another thing. 10, insert. Let's do 11%. There's a couple 12%ers in here, so we'll go in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run some formulas in here, just quick stuff so you can kind of see, kind of what would you offer off the cash flow. We'll just do from 10 to 15%. All right, so basically, what all I do basically is if you want to make a 10% return, you just take the 12 months of cash flow, divide that by the interest rate, right? 0.1. Oh, I forgot to, I meant to be 11%. Is equal to the cash flow divided by 0.11 is equal to cash flow divided by 0.12. Of course, you could do the same thing on the non-performance that we looked at yesterday and the day before. I didn't do this much because what you have to look at is what your money costs are going to be. Okay. Why is it not? There we go. So if you don't want to get another point, it's basically about a $3,000 drop. Okay. There we go. So we have our dollar amounts on this stuff. Let's go ahead and highlight this dollar amount. And we can copy these formulas all the way down. There we go. All right. So that gives you a bit of an idea. Like if you want to offer, you want to return based just off the cash flow, there you go. That's kind of what you would offer on this. Now, obviously it depends when it matures as well, how many years are left. Some of those you're not gonna offer this because it's such a short maturity. You'd offer less. Okay. Then you also got to figure out what your money costs are going to be on what you borrow. Right. So with a performing paper, it shouldn't be that expensive with your servicing costs. We're talking $15, maybe $25 a month in servicing costs, depending on your servicer is. Obviously, your servicer would be licensed in that state. And like I said, double check the taxes are paid, making sure the insurance is paid, not reimbursed. Some people are like, well, if you pay for it, they'll reimburse you. I don't consider that performing. That's an extra cost I have to go get. So I'm going to reduce my bid a little bit because it's not paid. If I got to pay it and ask for reimbursement, I don't like that. You know what I mean, everybody? Now, what you probably want to look at too is like we talked about before, looking at your first principal and interest amounts on some of these things. That's where you could really, and some of these have really low principal and interest payments, and that may be just a killer right off the bat. So let's look at those. And I say really, if you're using your own money, probably anything below $200. If you're using anybody else's money, probably $250 or greater is where you want to stick at. Okay. Actually, let's just resort this by. All right. So we're gonna go over here, hit custom sort. And I'm monitoring the chat roll as well too, guys. Especially if you're watching live on YouTube, I'm monitoring on there. All right, so let's go over here. First P&I amount. Okay, smallest to largest. All right. So look at some of these small amounts, like $84 a month. Oh, that's a small ass asset. And it's only part of the reason it's so cheap is they've only got a 3% interest rate on that thing. What the hell? How do they get a 3% interest rate? It's only 17 grand first principal. So basically they owe a little bit. Green Valley, St. Albans, West Virginia. There's a balloon on this thing. Oh, it doesn't mature till 46. So you got another 23 years on this thing. Oh, they've had it since 2000. What the heck? They must have modified it at some point. Yeah, we don't have, let me get rid of some of the stuff. Like none of these are arms. We don't need to be going through this every freaking time we do it. I mean, these have bankruptcies, active, closed. Okay, we'll leave some of those. Yeah, this one's paid. Like this one, yeah. Well, they referred it to attorney originally in April of 2021, but they've made payments, and so that one, I would say get rid of it. I think we can all agree that just too small amount. Unless you're in West Virginia, $84 a month. If you even figure $25 of servicing, you're making $60 a month. Less than that's 58. That's just not worth my time. Okay, not worth my time. Moving on to the next one. This one's $118 per month. This is Linda York. Let me get rid of some of the stuff we just don't need this. Let me get rid of the co-mortgager. All right. This is a conventional one. 2.4%. Oh, who the heck gave a 2.4% on this deal? Yeah, this one's up in Maine. They valued it at 72. That's from 2 years ago. It was originated in 2008, so they've been in it for 13 years, and it matures now in 2055. What the hell? 32 years from now. Oh, yeah, who wouldn't want that one? No. You see the answer to that, right, ladies and gentlemen? No. This one in West Helena, Arkansas. Borrower lives in Covington, Louisiana, so it's an investment property. This is one of the smaller balances, only 10,000. Guard Pro LLC, commercial property. So they took out 10,500 back in, 6 months ago. At 9.9% interest, but it's only such a small freaking loan amount. At 9.9, it might not be too bad because let's see how long the loan's for. 2023. If you're using your own funds in an IRA, this might make sense to buy it at a really cheap price. Does this mature? Get rid of some more of this stuff and hide it. So this one matures in 32. So in 9 years. So it's like a 10-year loan. Yeah. They valued it at 35, so you're only at 30 cents on the dollar of what they borrowed for the most part. If they default, you're going to get paid in full, but I wouldn't offer, since it's such a low amount, you want to really be at like 50 cents of the dollar or less. Let's take a look at this thing. It's a small 1,300 square foot, 1-bed, 1-bath property. This photo is from August of last year. So somebody came in, hopefully they updated it. Great. Hopefully they updated it. I don't know which address is it. 326. Maybe it's this one here. That's 320. No, maybe it's this one over here. I can see an address if we go through the haze. $332. So it's not left or right, it's this one in the middle. 326 right there. So 6 months. So obviously, what would you want to check? Well, what you could do is see if they're paying. See, so they've been paying on time. Let's go to rentometer. Come on, computer. Rentometer. And we'll just say one bath, one bed, one bath. Go ahead, analyze. All right. This is too little. Not much rental comps in that neighborhood. All right. Let's see here. Oh, anyway, that's renometer's not so bad, but yeah. So you'd want to make sure if you're going to buy a note, hey, is it rehabbed? Is it occupied? Is it getting some rent coming in? Because if they're getting some rent in, then your payment's going to be covered for the most part, right? It's not that, not a big chance of them defaulting unless they just don't rehab it. The fact is, in Arkansas versus Louisiana, it's the only thing that concerns me is they're not local. And they only pay 10 grand for it, and their monthly payment is, that cheap amount of $138 a month. So if you want to use your IRA and you can get it at 5 grand, it's because it's at 9.9% interest. Wait a second. Why is if it's at 9.9 loan balance? I'm not going to pay the premium for it. Why is my month going off? 13. That's right. Yeah, I wouldn't offer 15. I wouldn't be I would be offering a whole lot less. Why is that acting all weird? Oh, because that's no totally. Damn it all! I goofed on this thing, didn't I? Where's my? Oh, that's right. First P&I payment. No, that's right. I did that right. If it's at 10%, you would pay a premium for that above. It's just I wouldn't pay. I wouldn't pay above that. I would go in here and if they only owe 11, I'm not going to offer more than what they owe. Yeah. Estimated total debt, something like that. Let me give you a bit of an idea. So if we take it, here we go. All right. So we go over here, insert this. No, escape. Let's just say 80% of debt, because most of these are going to have equity, right? There we go. Times 0.8. That's why you got to look at the spreadsheet. You can't just start running numbers because your numbers, if you're off, you got to catch stuff like this. I'm glad I did. There we go. So if you're paying 80 cents on the dollar, that's a better idea. If we take the 12 months of cash flow, just see a bit of an idea. Okay, so at 80%. There you go. That's a better kind of analogy for that. Now that'll give you a better fit for that stuff. So you can say, okay, if I pay 80 cents on the dollar, that's better. Now you're likely to get a higher return on some of this stuff, which is nice. But if you pay 80 cents of the debt, your 12 months cash flow ROI would roughly be around this. And why do you ask for a, let's do another thing here. Let's do that. 80% of debt. So one of the things we can do is let's figure in our servicing costs on this. So we figure, let's just make it easy, simple. So you can figure in servicing costs. I'll just say, let's just say minus $300 a year. Because if you figure 25 times 12, that's a normal performing note. So we take U2, that's the 12 months of cash flow. This would be accurate because you got to really figure this out on these small performing stuff. Minus 300. That should give us a better, there we go. So after servicing costs, that's a better formula. Because you don't want to be self-servicing this month, right? That's a better aspect of things. Okay. Does that make you guys, does that make sense how I pulled that information? So I took 80% of the debt and I took the 12 months of cash flow minus $300 a year, which would be 25 times 12 is kind of your base servicing cost for a performing note. That left you with a total really true cash flow divided by your 80% debt. That gives you that ROI there. Now the big thing, like you got to make sure, so if it's a 17%, when does it mature? And that's year in, year out. So this one, note date, it matures in 9 years. So, okay. You've got some opportunity to make a little bit of return, but that's, that's the cash flow. That's not your total. You'll still have to put that into your financial calculator. I'm not going to go through that with you right now. So you figure that out. There's plenty of online ROI calculators to give you a bit of an idea on what you're paying there for. So that's kind of where I start at. This is the lower stuff here where it's some really low interest rate stuff there. Not even worth wasting your time on. This is the one that was in Foxville, Minnesota. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. What kind of interest rate they have? Probably 0, 1. They only owe, 1.9%. Ugh, no. We're just going to get rid of that. It's hard to make any money on that. Well, they owe. Yes, but that's why you'd only offer 20 grand on that. So on that deal, that's where you would come in offer. Okay, I'll offer you 20 grand on this thing because the cash flow is so low. And it matures in basically 27 years. You're going to tie up 20 grand. I need to make a 15% return. So this is why you got to look at the two. So that's why 80% of debt on this one doesn't make any sense. It's only a 3% return. So this coming over here, you got to base it off the cash flow. So you got to look at kind of back and forth. You got to flip flop a little bit, and then of course, depending on what your money's making, that's going to be another cost there for you. Hopefully, I'm as clear as I can be, because you can base it off we want 80% of debt. Okay, fine, I'll give you 80% of debt if it makes sense and yield wise to me. If it doesn't make any sense, then I got to go off the cash flow and do the cash flow basis. Okay. So it's important for you to kind of know, because if it's a performing note, they're not usually going to take a huge discount unless it's at such a ridiculously low ass interest rate. My say is make an offer on all of them, on both levels, whichever makes sense for you, and see what they counter you back at, and go from there. Because they're going to move it, they know it's at a cheap interest rate. The borrower ever defaults, guess what? You're into for 12 grand. They owe you 6. Like, let's just, for example, you get 15% return on this one. You're paying 14 grand, 13.5 basically. but they owe 76 and some more. And it's probably worth a whole lot more. Let's take a look at the address here. This is the one. It's Foxhome, right? Yeah, let's see where it's at in Minnesota. The land of the frozen tundra. Not a good sign when it's out in the middle of boonies like that. Let's click on a map and see where at in the land of 10,000 lakes this place is at. Let's take it out. What's it near? So it's near Fargo. So it's what's that, about 40 miles? Oh no, it's about 40 miles outside of Fargo, a little bit out of Battle Creek. In the woods. Yes, never mapped it. Fine. Okay, well, let's do one other thing. Let's just see if there's any other images for the heck of it. I wonder if it's any farmland over here. It's on 3 acres. And they valued at 138. So they're in at 75. All right, so let's go back here to the tape. All right, so they valued it. When they originally valued it was at 75. That's what they took it out at, right? Yeah, 76 and some change. It's worth double that now, right? Let's see what they put as a valuation on this thing. They valued it 100 grand back a couple years ago. Okay, so it's 3 acres. That borrower is not going to lose that loan. 1.9%. They're never going to refinance out, right? So if you buy this, you're gonna hold on to this thing, but to get a 15% return, I mean, seriously, yeah, that's where I'd make my bid. 13 grand to get a 15% return. So let's do this. We're gonna make our offers. Offer. So back over here, we're gonna drop this down to 13,000. U7 minus 300 divided by that offer. Yeah, so it's be about a 13% cash run. Is that right? Yeah, after servicing costs. That's why this over here doesn't have servicing costs. Yep, that's about right. Okay. So that's where I'd make my offer. And I'll make an offer just on that because 13,000 and you're gonna have something like that for a while, 7-8 years. Okay, great. They're probably, what'll happen is that all that equity, maybe they refinance you out. If not, you end up with 3 acres. You have to foreclose, you're in a pretty secure position there. And if you foreclose, you're at 74. you're making 60 grand on a foreclosure. Even if Minnesota has a 1-year redemption period for first lien. So basically you foreclose, you can't sell the asset off. The borrower's got up to a year to come back. I mean, the only problem about that is you're gonna have 6 months out of the year you can't do anything because it's so dang cold up that neck of woods. But you get that big farming thing right next to it, maybe who knows what's going on. So that's where my offer would come in on that one. Okay, let's look at this other one here. It's low. It says that 7% return. Where's this located? This is supposed to be performing. This was originally done in 2015, so they've had it for 8 years. That 4.4%, another low payment amount. Yeah, restricted escrow balance. What's that from? Back taxes, probably. I don't know where it's at. Denham Springs, Louisiana. So this is an owner occupant. Matures in 36. You got 13 more years on this thing. They valued it at 137. I just probably get rid of anything below. I mean, if you're using your own funds, it's a different story. If you're using your own IRA, hey, why not make 15% in your IRA after servicing costs? So this one had no images as well. 1,750 square foot house. There's any images of it? Nothing. I'm just too freaking rural. That's why I look at that. Okay. Nope. Yeah. Delete that. Let's move on to the next one here. Look at our numbers. Okay. So the ones that what I'm looking at is a low interest rate because I'm kind of filtering through those first because the rest of these all kind of make sense to go this route. And then we just got to look at, does it make sense? Where's it located? That kind of stuff. So this next one is at a 5% return. Three and a quarter. It's a conventional, been around since 2007. Maturity dates in 62. Jesus, they must have modified this dang thing. Ugh. That's why the payments are so low. $57 owed. Yeah, I wouldn't offer 48. I would do the 17,000. That's still, for that long. Yeah, no, I would do 15,000. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it drops to a 15% ROI. Let's see what it looks like. Once again, if you got some money sitting in an IRA, that's what I would do. If you're using other people's money, I would go into a different deal. Just too long. They're not going to refinance out, and you don't want to sell it. Yeah, so 30. It's another rural one, Westover, Maryland. Shouldn't be that rural. In the woods. All blacked out. Yeah, I'd get rid of it because I don't want to own. Now let's go back to so what Zillow say. Is there a house out there? Or is it just raw land? manufactured home out in the boonies there. Yeah, nope, we're gonna get rid of it. All right, let's move on to the next one. It's a low. This one is in Baton Rouge. 80% is 54, but it's only 5. So let's look at, yeah, 19,000. It's another low interest rate one. 4% interest rate. 70,000 originated 2005. Man, that's a cheap rate for even back then. They modify the dang thing. It's an investment property because the email address is different property in Baton Rouge. They modified it in 2021. There you go. 11/1. So they modified it with COVID. Matures in 38. So they did it as a 17-year term. No legal. Yeah, let's look at this, what it looks like. It's not a bad looking little house. 6245. This is from April of last year, so it's a really current picture. Yep, 6245. There's a street number right down there too. So let's, I like that picture. It's not bad. Baton Rouge, pretty well known area. Let's go back here and look at the numbers again. So what would I offer on this thing? Now it's at 4% interest rate. If I want to make 12, that means I'm going to offer roughly 33 cents on the dollar. And we look back over here, like if I want to make 15, 12, that's 23,000. Yeah, they're paying 238 a month. Okay. So we go over here to 19. Let's figure out our other numbers here. We're not going to pay 80 cents on the dollar. Hell no. So let's just say 19,000. That gives us a 13 cash return. You see what I'm saying? The difference between servicing costs on these small balances really condenses the ROI quite a bit. It's not a subtle difference. It's a 0.2 change because you've got that small balance, small monthly payment coming in. Okay. So that's the most that I would offer with the 19 on that one. I'd make an offer, I'll make an offer. Maybe I do 18 and let them counter me up. Actually, let's do 17. Because if I'm using somebody else's money, I want to make sure I'm getting 15% after servicing, because then if I'm splitting it with somebody brings in 17, I can give them a 7% return and still make a decent, 8%. It's not much, but it's still, $200 a month is still $100 in my pocket. And you're going to be sitting at a pretty secure LTV. All right. Let's go down here next. Actually, so that I meant to go over here. Let's highlight some of these we've already gone through. Whichever one is the 13. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let's go down to the 6%er. $260 a month. Okay. A little better. Commercial. 52. Take it out. This is the oldest one, 1999. owner occupant. Matures in 54. Who the heck is giving 55-year mortgages to these people? Valuation date. Was it not modified? Jesus. She better be on time. This is from 2014, but pretty good pride of ownership. I mean, red brick home. You know, it's a nice little neighborhood. What the heck? I always wonder why they put these brick things like this. Must be for a driveway. But, oh well. Yeah, Bennetville, South Carolina is not that big a spot. Let's see how many people live in there. Probably spelled it wrong. It's only 7,000 people. Okay. The Great PD River is noted for its historic homes and buildings, so it's old as. Oh well, but you know what? You know, somebody's living in it. You know, make a low ball offer. They owe 55. I'm not going to offer 80. If I want to get a lot of equity above that at 20. Yeah, let's just do 20,000. Get you 14% cash and cash. That's pretty solid with the equity. Okay. All right, let's go down here where we got these low balances. Let's look at this 5% one. This one is where this has a normal payment of $373.67. All right, so we're getting a little bit better. Elizabeth Ferguson's the borrower. Taken out in 2007. 16 years. So estimated total debt is 96. You see what I'm saying? This is 96, and then they took out 47. So she didn't pay for a period of time. And it's at a 9.9% interest rate, which is more normal for 2007. This is the one in China, Texas. Okay. She lives in Beaumont. Okay. Yeah. Shroud tried to file Chapter 7. January of last year. I think we looked at this a little bit. But she's made some payments. Only 24 days late. Yeah, fast foreclosure. Let's make an offer. This one probably, yeah, you probably got to make it, and I'm not gonna make it 5%. What's the maturity date? Sorry, I didn't see that. Last full payment. $2007. Then I must have just went past it. I'm looking for the maturity dates. She modified it in 2022, and that's what it was. And 42. So it was a 20-year modification. That's what she filed. Okay, so there you go. Modified it in June. She filed bankruptcy, Chapter 7, then modified it in June. And she's been paying basically ever since. Worth 110. Yeah, let's go back to our offer here. Yeah, I'd say 29,000 just for the heck of it, because the hell, it's 14% cash returns for you. Why not? All right, we'll do one more and then take a quick little break. We'll go back up this 5% here. This one is located Tim Lewis, originated 2003 for 73,000, 4.9% interest rate. Ugh. Who's giving these rates? Winchester, Kentucky. They live there. Modified in March of last year. Matures in 30, so it's an 11-year mod. So it filed bankruptcy back in 2015. Worth 91. Yeah, modified after that. Okay. Yeah, let's just go over here. Not the biggest fan of Kentucky stuff, but let's just take a look at Winchester, Kentucky. $113, that's it. That's from May 2012. Lots of pride of ownership in that one. It's a nice little property there. I would, screen save, and you could use that as a, somebody's trying to stay in their house. Somebody's really, emotional equity in that one. They're going to pay on time. That's why they filed the bankruptcy back to this day. But that's, provide that's what the property looks like now. Yeah. So let's do 5, 6. Low interest rates again on this thing. So 32 is 32,000. If you got your own money, you can offer more than that. If you're using somebody else's money and you need to get 7%, there you go. After servicing costs, you're still making 7. So while some of these are going to be low balls, it's okay to submit some low ball stuff from time to time. You're going to make some higher stuff, but these low interest rates like that are they're killer for you if you end up with a low interest rate. You don't want to tie up money like that for a period of time. Right, to tie up somebody else's money who's not making anything, but for yours, let's not do that. All right, so this one, this is the highest UPB one. Let's look at this one. It's only 6%. Their interest rate, L137 interest rate, monthly payment on this is 553. Okay. Troy Banks, took it out in 2008. 132. He owes 137, so he's a little upside down. As far as what he originally paid, he may not be upside down value wise. He lives in Baltimore. Modified this May of last year, so he's been into it for a year. So he modified it, and there was a balloon supposed to happen last year on May. And so the loan mod date now is extended that out. When is it mature? Who knows? Only 24 days behind. Somebody must have paid advanced taxes. Okay. Well, is this the row house? Yeah, it was a row house. So 4 Bladen Road. There's 6. There's 8. So 4 is this one. It's all blocked out. Big tree. So what do you do with that? You go over here and see if you can't see it from the road. Oh, so you don't want to do that. Well, that's when you need to have somebody who drives by. Let's go back here, because sometimes I think I saw an MLS listing in the search here. The 1 bath, 1,008 square foot townhome. This is originally, this is from way back in the day. Let's just see if there's any images or whatever. No. Valued at 187. So maybe, yeah, so still some equity there, definitely. Yeah, see, these are all, it's nothing on there for 4. Here's for 8. See if there's any photos, because you're all gonna be about the same. So yeah, see, this one's completely newly rehabbed. It gives you a bit of a layout. Okay. All right. Well, you know that there. If we go back to our spreadsheet now, there you go. That's what my offer would be. Okay. All righty. Good stuff here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's take a quick little mid thing break here. We'll take just a quick 5-10 minute break, bio break, something to nibble on, something to drink. What do you got to do? And come back here and say somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. Okay. All right, we're back in just a second, everybody. Feel better now. You know when you don't eat and you start to energy run a little low. Mm, yeah, I feel better. Any now we're kind of second half of this as we're going through stuff. Any questions, any observations from you guys that have been guys and gals watching this morning or this afternoon about kind of how we're going through this? I think it's all making sense for you. You always have to make sure your money is taken care of, or if you're using somebody else's money, it's doubly insulated. Of course, sometimes they're going to make sense, other times they're not going to make sense. Okay. But to make 30, 40 offers, you're more likely to get something accepted at your numbers versus just trying to do one or two. You know what I mean? So our goal is to get quite a few offers, submitted. I know that Laura, I think you've submitted a couple already last night that we'll add in to our bid because Laura's part of our WC crew and one coach's student. But for those that are you're not active note investors or looking to get into it, anything stand out? Anything that you guys are struggling with as I'm going through this stuff? I think it's kind of making sense. You got to look at the cash flow, look at the value, and take a look at the ROIs because sometimes they're going to vary on how you pull your number and take a look at. But you got to kind of look at everything on the spreadsheet. It's good to run formulas down, but you got to go back and look at the assets. What's going on? And realize you're the bank, not the property owner. Especially in this stuff here, you're going to be holding on to this for cash flow. Is it going to make sense? Where's the borrower's mindset? They got a really low interest rate. Is there any motivation whatsoever for them to refinance? Probably not. Okay. Unless they need to cash out, then they would go get refinanced out. But right now, you're not going to have anybody really refinancing out. Between now, if you're buying it and you're getting a pretty good yield in the cash flow and you hold on to it for a period of time, then, 3, 4 or 5 years, you're still going to be way below that UPB. You could sell that note off to a regular IRA investor looking for 6, 7, 8%. You could arbitrage yourself in the middle. If you get a decent price on this, you could even flip it to somebody else right now and make a decent chunk of change in between everything. So that's something to keep in mind for you as we go forward here. But like I said, I want to make sure if you have questions, whether you're watching on the live stream on YouTube or you're watching here, please ask questions. That's the biggest thing I want to know is if making sense. If it doesn't make sense, why would I do that? Why I wouldn't do that? If I'm as clear as water, great. Then if I'm not, or not as clear as mud, I want to know what's keeping you from thinking that. All good. Thanks, Don. I appreciate you. That's what I like to know. Like to hear. Okay. All right. Let's go back into the second half of the day. Should be easier as we go through this stuff. Once we've removed some of these low balance stuff, it's all a matter of like, okay, stuff that's at 20% and you're making 80% of the debt, great. And going from there. So I'm just let me hit the save button. I don't want to lose our work. When you're working a spreadsheet, one of the most important things is make sure you hit that save button. All right. So we looked at that one, low ball, 12%. What's left in the single digits? We got a couple single digits. All right, so let's start here. Those are all good, right? Yep. Okay. This 7% one. Where's this low? This one's located. Oh, this is that little house in Brunswick, Georgia. Okay. This is 4.5%, 312 a month, or 283. Audrey Easterling, she took this out in 2005, so she's been into it for 18 years. It matures in 2050. Okay, 45-year mortgage. Ugh, oh, the payment's so cheap. Yeah, when it's more than a 30-year mortgage, I don't feel bad offering a low balance on this stuff because it's like the likelihood you're going to rent all the way to fruition. See, this is modified just last year too, 7 months, 8 months ago. Ugh. No legal action. Same thing. I'm gonna, let's just go take a look at it real fast. Boom. Same address as the mail address. So we take a look here. Yeah, this is a little red brick home. Just under 1,400 square foot, 3 bedroom, 1 bath. It probably got some pride of ownership, lived there for a while. Yeah, I mean, this picture's from 6 months ago when they modified. Yeah, not the newest roof, but still, lawns mowed. Get the gate open. Let's go down the street here and take a look. Whoa, that's not where we wanted to go. Wait, can we go down the street? They've got a carport back here. Maybe it's as good as we're going to get it. There we go. Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, I like that little house. Got a lot of equity. Foreclosed quickly in Georgia. Just make it really makes sense for us then. $33. Let's try 33,000. No, we gotta get higher than that. I'm sorry, lower. 30,000. It's at 10. No, let's just do 25,000. 12%. Okay. Done on that one. Go down to the 7% one. This one's 901 Church Street. So let's go over here, take a look at it. So they're maybe a month behind. 4.5%, low interest rate, 358 a month. Original loan date was 2009. Matures once again. Here's one of those stupid mods. They did a forbearance mod back in 2020. So 7 months into COVID, they modified it. No bankruptcy. Yeah, currently. Okay. All right. Same thing here. Same thing. A lot of equity, low interest rate, can be in it for a while. Make sure you're getting at least a 7% return to your side after money partners. Okay. Go to the 8% one in the country. This is the one in Illinois. Let's look at the one in Blackstone, because Virginia is a non-judicial state. You can foreclose pretty quickly there if you need to. Oh, let's phone up. It's the same one we just looked at. Right address. Yeah, this is that little house out in the middle of nowhere. Got to get to church on time. Now it's not a bad. I mean, look at that little house. Pride of ownership. This is taken from December of not last year, but year before last. Blackstone, Virginia. It's not Blacksburg. I was thinking that for a second. I was like, oh, that's not where Va Tech is at. Yeah, I mean, older homes, but it's okay. East size lot. Okay, same thing. Yeah, okay. They modified it. Yeah, you modify it that long, you're going to get a lower ball offer on it. That's why I feel yeah, the 25,000. That's fine. Let's look at this 8% one. This is the Illinois one. Once again, I'm not the biggest fan of Illinois, especially if it's non-performing because it takes forever to freaking foreclose. This is at 4.6%. Yeah, 4.625. But they're making a 327 a month payment. This matures 2052. They basically did another 30-year mortgage at this price back 6 months ago. I know they did this. They just took this out in May of last year, so it's not even a year. So this is a new loan. 80. Okay, yeah. So this is a new loan. It's only about 8 months. Okay. All right. So once again, same thing. I'm not going to give them an 8% return. I'm going to go down to let's try 35,000. No, we're going to be better than that. So 30,000. They're probably not going to accept that. Totally fine. Don't care. That's what I need to be able to get interested in that. All right. So now the rest of these is going to start looking pretty easy. So like this is at 9%. Let's look at this. This one is in Burgaw. I don't know where the hell Burgaw, North Carolina is. Yeah. 3.25. Matures in 36. This is a 36-year mortgage. They must have just modified it. Not owner occupied because they have a different address for the mailing address. Now they could be sending it to a different place. Modified it May of last year. There's a balloon. There was a balloon on it. Balloons on 36. Okay. And no foreclosure. Yeah, no foreclosure action has started. So what were the corporate advances? That's probably taxes and insurance and some of this. This is a nice little home though. 2,154 square foot house, pretty good size. Where is Burgaw, North Carolina? All right, so look at that. You got oh, this is an older photo, obviously. 2014. There's Burgaw near the Piggly Wiggly at Burgaw. So it's north of Wilmington. You're about 15 miles from the coast. Yeah, not so bad. Let's see if we can get better photos. See if there's anything new. Two 2014. Is it? Let's see. So it's got that white picket, kind of white fence along here. They have two roofs there. No, that's not the house. Where this is I don't think they put. Yeah, it's a different looking house than we're looking here in the street map. I mean, I like that little house. It's probably duplex. It's the second story there. This is 9 years old photo. But if it's in good condition, it's in good condition. Somebody's living it, probably taking care of it. Just want to make sure that when you're doing your due diligence, you actually see somebody go out and take some decent photos of it. With any of these, you're always going to put eyes on an asset still, for the most part. Yeah, Donnie, could have been painted, it could have been renovated, but I don't think they put two chimney stacks in there for the most part. But yeah, it's not so bad. Totally could have been. Because we look at this note. This is 2014. This one is originally. Yeah, see 2000, so it's still the same owner. Yeah, you know what? I don't have a problem with that. I like North Carolina. Wilmington's not too far away. It's a decent little house, two-story. Okay. I'm going to pay less than a 9% return now. Say 50,000. 10%. So let's try 45. Oh, let's try 40. 13. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so everything we have on here now is a double-digit return, right? Let's go into some of the lower ones, 10%, 11s, and look at those. Okay. This one is in Spavinaw. What's the interest for this thing? 4.5%. This is a land contract, so it's basically a cancel it. They don't pay, you cancel and move on. So it's basically 2012. It's been there 11 years. It now matures in 39. If it's a land contract, it should have never been at 4.5%. It should always be, most of the land contracts were at 9.9%. Yeah. Got it 37.5. His valuation date. Matures in 39. Yeah, same thing. All right, so let's go back over here for a number. Yeah, no, first principal balance 28. I'm not going to pay that. I'm going to pay I'll offer up a big whopping 20. See what it does. 11, let's do 19. Let's go to 12. Yeah. 18. There we go. It's at 10%. This one in Youngstown, Ohio. Yeah, this is a nice little property, if I remember correctly. Same thing, land contract. Okay, fine with that. Matures in 43. So you got 20 more years. Land contract should, this is at 9.9%. That's a normal land contract. $273.59 a month. And you got to be careful about Youngstown. See, it's in a different, it's an investor because a mailing address is a different address. So only valued at 24.5 when they did this. Yeah, recoverable corporate advances, first legal action. The status date was 9/24, so they delay this. So the first legal action was 9/24. Matures in 43, so it was a 30-year mortgage. Okay, well, balance is 31. Okay, let's make an offer on it. Let's see what it looks like first. This one in Youngstown, I think, was a pretty decent, but Youngstown has some good neighborhoods and some bad neighborhoods. So that's what you always got to be very up. So he's got this on a land contract, basically got owner financed. He's probably not living in the primary house. He's probably living in another place, which is okay. But figuring out, okay, is this a rental property or is it owner occupied? Not the biggest of places. So here's what I'm talking about. This looks like this place was on fire. Yeah. That's flame. This is 2000. Well, this is old, but I guarantee it's not gotten any better. Yeah. Let's take a tour down Main Street here, huh? Jumpin' Jack's Party Center, where the party's always on fire. Dude, look at that. 50 wings for $22.99. You're paying less than 50 cents a wing. Man, those are some spicy wings catching that thing on fire. Yeah, that's so bad. Let's go down here a little bit more. And that's so bad. Couple of restaurants. So, all right. So let's go back. Let's go back to the tail of the tape. Youngstown is paying. I want to see a little bit better. I don't want to pay. Yeah, since he's at a lower interest rate, let's do this at. Total is 35. I'm gonna go off of UPB here. So let's try 24. There you go. Probably worth more than that, but we'll take a look at values. Okay. And then we have three more below 12%. This one, Longview, I've looked at this one before. This is not performing. I don't know why this is on here. Valuation and RPR is 33.5. Yeah, value RPR. Here's the thing about RPR. You're talking about the one here in Youngstown, Don? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So is that 35? You'd be picking this up at what's it, 5/7. So that's one thing. What did they give us the valuation of this thing here? Let's go over, take a look. So they gave us a valuation here. They said 94. I don't believe it's worth 94. That's from 2 years ago. Okay. Now, if you see you values that, so what's 30? What's you figured 21, 70 cents of the dollar of 35,000. Is that what you said? What's 35, 37? 33.5. Okay, well, just say 66 cents on the dollar would be 22. Right. Yeah, let's do 22. Because they gave their valuation on that, and that's part of your due diligence. They say 95. Well, you pull comps and you pull a BPO and it shows it being at 33.5, that's justification for your bid being along with it. They're probably not going to accept it initially just because they have it's valued at from 2 years ago. Well, we all know things change. And the thing about RPR, it's okay, except what's going into the comps. Is it going with more distressed sales as well that are bringing the values down? REOs that need to be repaired, because this is a clean little property. So that's the thing about RPR. You always got to take it with a grain of salt. Does it give you a confidence level score? You know, it should give you three, 4 comps in RPR, and you can look at those individually and see, hey, this is a distressed sale. This is it doesn't look like it's a, doesn't look like it's a distressed sale, but okay, so it's Youngstown. They probably want to move it. Let's do it at 22. What's the worst thing you're gonna do? Counter? Hey, counter, we go back from there. 4-star confidence. Okay. Well, and that's the thing. You're going to adjust your numbers. We're just doing this as quick numbers online. If you get access to RPR, great. Use that to help you out with that. All right, let's go back here and look at this next one at 10%. This one's we've looked at this one before. This isn't performing. This is actually vacant. I don't know why they said this was performing. It was modified in May of last year. 39. Let's make sure I'm looking at the right asset. I think I might not be looking at the right asset. Yeah, we looked at this. I don't know why this has popped up as a non-performing. Maybe it's they start performing again. Who knows? This photo is, if I remember correctly, is relatively recent too. Yeah, June of last year, 98.31. So maybe it is. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably okay. Well, that looks like it's a ladder. It clean supplies in there. So bet somebody's gone and fixed it up. All right, let's go back over here. Let's look. Maybe we get maybe it's on 2 tapes for a reason. All right, it was modified May of last year. It was originally taken out 2001. It matures in 39. Okay, so they had 17. How many days behind are they, to say? Only a month behind. Recoverable. Referred to train back in 2009. Okay, so they value this at 24. Let's go over here. Yeah, you're not gonna. The debt is not that. They valued at 24. I would say 15. Because the value's so low. They say it's only worth 24. That's the thing to take a look at. Now, obviously, they're pulling their value from you. One of the things we'll go back and take a look at is, okay, what kind of percentage are we pulling as far as values? And this is why RPR, something like this, will make sense, but you're going to go off of strictly what they give you and then go from there. Okay. All right, so next one is this one in St. Stephen's. Same thing on this one. I think we looked at this, I recognized this yesterday. Died at 177. Matures in 2030. Estimate total at 76. Yeah, this is really at a low interest rate on this thing, right? Yeah, 3.25. That's why. Yeah, so original borrower still got 23 years, well, only about 7 years left. Yeah, so if we base it on the cash flow basis, 42. Yeah, we're not going to go off that. We're going to go off this 42, which is a 40. They say. That's what they're going to say. No. Okay. And the last one is below 12. This one down at the bottom down here. This is James Nation Jr. Matures in 2040. Taking out 2006. 5 3/8. It looks like. Was the same house. This is in Mississippi. Modified it in October of last year, so just modified it recently. So the chapter 13 filed in November, modified it in October. Must be paying probably paying the 24 grand back. Yeah, so it started foreclosure, they filed bankruptcy to delay stuff. Okay. They want to stay. Should I stay or should I go now? If I don't pay, there will be trouble. And then again, I may end up paying double. Question from somebody here. Would there be any newer photos of any of the on any other realty website? Is it worth checking? You know, you could, John, but you could check out some of these. I'll do images. Some of these are gonna be rural enough, they're probably not. It's better, instead of you hunting and pecking and searching, I just like make it simple. Let's get some bids in. If they accept it, then I'll do a deeper dive and doing BPOs or sending out property inspection reports and stuff like that. So this is this 363 David Sherman Road. This is the lot, I guess. Yeah. Oh, no, don't want it. That solves us for that one. Yeah, don't want it. Sweet. Okay, now we go back over here. Now, one thing we're gonna do here, since we're kind of at this point with our debt offering, let's insert a column here. And we'll do our offer to value. Or as I say, investment to value. Whatever they say their value is, okay? We know that's going to be vary. So that divided by over here. $35,000. Okay. And we'll run that formula down. B. Now this is an important thing. Okay. When you start seeing these high percentages, like they're 100%, I'm not going to pay 100% of value. Hell no. Okay. Of course, if it's a piece of shit, then he probably needs to remove that property from your bid altogether. So this is a investor loan at 9.9. Yeah, see, this is one of these small little values. It's not probably, it's not worth going. This is one in Toledo, Ohio. Now this is based off their value, which could be a few years back. Probably the borrower's rehabbed it and done some work to it. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, see, okay, so it's in the snow. In the snow. So it sold April of last year for 15.3. Oh, well, that's the stove being pulled out of there. The red room. Somebody's painting it. He's putting some TLC into it. It must be a kid's room. Somebody likes the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell, turtle power. Okay, so this was sold in April of last year. Let's go back to the spreadsheet. I think it's worth more than what it says it here, but that's okay. So April of last year. Yeah, see, 429. So they sold it. They carried the loan on this. Yeah, they financed 75%. Okay, and this is at 9.9%. Only $151 a month. I guarantee it's probably worth more than that. Probably renting higher. Yeah, 80% of debt. And we're not going to pay. Yeah, we're going to drop it down a bit. We're going to drop it down to just say 7,500. See what they say. Okay. Let's look at some of these higher ones. This is 83. This is the Avondale one. Toledo, Ohio. No, let's look at that one as well. Oh, we just pulled up. Hang on here. That's what we just changed. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's go down here. Let's start looking. There was one other one that was way over 100%, another one at 95. Let's just take a look at these. 108%. This is Pleasantville. Oh, this is the Pleasantville, New Jersey one. Yeah, it just keeps telling me no. I'm just going to delete it off. I'm just not a fan of New Jersey, and I don't want to start breaking my rules for the most part. Yeah. All right. So let's the same thing. Yeah, that's okay. 83% because I think the value's better there. 80% in Wynne, Arkansas. Let's look at this one. Win. Out my back door. 320 Holt Avenue. 1,000 square foot home, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, kind of small little house. Let's see picture of this. How old is this? Yeah, this is from August of last year. Yeah, no, I don't like it. Probably somebody's updated. Yeah, but no. Delete. Okay. I don't want to pay 90%, so let's drop this down to 20. 82 is more like it. It's okay. This one's at 95% in Springfield. This is that duplex to begin with. All right, so let's look at the number. What happened on this one? So this is Accra Properties. So they've bought several of these. They've got two in here. So this is 2020. Or 23. These people are out of Wyoming, but that's probably the LLC is. It matures in 7 years. The very first deal, I think the first image, remember correctly. Yeah. All right. So this was listed. This is from March of last year. Like the roof had something on it, tar or something. A lot of trash. Oh, look at that. Yeah. I got windows busted into this thing. For somebody it might be right. I don't want to end up owning the property there though. It's a lot of those bigger houses there. That could be a good little rental. Somebody could have done some work to it. Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it at that. My value comes back higher. Okay. But the rest of these look pretty decent. I mean, you look at returns 50% of value. You really don't want to be above 75 unless you really think that their value is skewed, which is a lot. I think a lot of these are value skewed on this. Let's look at the one in Haverton because this is at 85%. Let's see what they think about this one. This is an owner occupant. It's a mature 2005, 7.495. What is the damn thing mature? Oh, in 8 years. Oh, 14 years. So 32 years. So it's probably just been all the way to the end. That's 19. 80% is at 15. It's owner occupant. They modified it in February last year. So oh, this is a second mortgage. Never mind. I don't want second. Sorry. Just not a big fan of second mortgages. I don't want to do seconds because I'm behind a first. Yep. Let's make sure we're not having any other seconds on there. No, they're all first now. Okay. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's kind of where we're at. You can see this is kind of our offering. This is kind of what our rough numbers would be if we add these all up. I'll sum it up. It's just over $1 million. If we go back over here to the PI, to whatever the monthly payment is, 12 months PI/TI, I'll sum it up. That's 200 grand a month on those 57. And so if we take 200 grand a year, That's roughly about a 19% cash and cash return before servicing costs are deducted out of that. Okay. Question here from somebody. Genesis, hey, is there a course where you go through notes, education, A to Z in order? Yeah. Jayla, if you go through our note buying for dummies workshop, just go to notebuyingfordummies.com. That would be really the best spot to go to first. It's a 3-day workshop. We usually do it once a quarter. We just hosted it about 2 weeks ago. You can get the replays to it. So if you sign up for that today, you'll get the replays, the last workshop. You can go through that replays, and then you'll get a live ticket to the next class we teach the first part of April. But that would be the best spot to go through, kind of getting started. And how do we really focus on how to find them, how to fund them, and then how to flip them, and kind of going through what to look for. Why is a non-performing note non-performing? Where's the discounts on this? Kind of rough pricing. You're not going to learn everything about notes in 3 days, but Jayla, it's a great starting point. And honestly, anybody that's been in the non-performing note side that's done anything, they've gone through our stuff, because we've been teaching this since 2010. It's been teaching this for 13 years. So I'd highly check it out. I'll just type it in the chat roll here. So you guys, it's boom. Thank you for answering. Is notebuyingfordummies.com. That's what I would recommend you check it out. I misspelled dummy. Sorry. Gang up, big thick fingers. Note. I think that's right. Okay, that should take you there now. Yeah, notebuyingfordummies.com there, Jayla. That'd be the best thing. Or you can always, and here's the thing, guys and gals, that's a 19% cash and cash return. That's not counting if you're using anybody else's money. But if you get money at 6-7%, then that's a pretty damn good ROI. That's not a 12% ROI. That's an infinite rate of return, right? So that's a great way on these notes right there to be bringing in. Let's do this. Let's figure this out real fast. If you're paying 7% is equal to that times 0.07. That means you're paying $73,000 a year, right? And your profit after paying your investors is what? Oh, that's not right. $126,000 roughly. Another question here. One more question. And what's the course for the advanced note lesson, since you said we don't want to learn everything in the 3-day? So after our 3-day course, that's when you would sign up for our one-on-one coaching or be a part of our monthly WCN membership at $97 a month. So Jayla, I would get signed up for the 3-day workshop or book a call with me at talkwithscottcarson.com. That's talkwithscottcarson.com. And we can talk about kind of where you're at and what you want to learn. But that's the dummies, and then the advanced stuff is just that we do this monthly stuff like this. We have our WC membership where we do advanced trainings, like we have a whole day on wholesaling notes, a whole day on calling banks, a whole day on due diligence. We've got a whole day on marketing, a whole day on raising capital. Some courses coming to that as well for you. So let me put my link in there as well for if you want to book a call with me. And so it's pretty simple. Talkwithscottcarson.com. Well, they just say, the great thing to think about this, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you don't buy 50, maybe you get, maybe you don't get 58, maybe you get 10, maybe you get 5, but if you throw 58 against the wall, you're much more likely to get 4 or 5 probably versus none. If you only do like 1, then you're struggling because you probably don't get accepted. It's also, do you have $1 million sitting in your bank account? No, you don't. So what do? Well, you go out and raise capital. You go out and market. You go out and talk to people. You go out and say, hey, I got some opportunities. Anybody interested? You got any assets sitting on the sideline? You got any IRA not making, you're not making 6-7%? Let's talk. And you can often do it maybe tax-free if it's in a self-directed Roth IRA. There's a whole lot of great ways for people to make money. without having paid any taxes on it too, if it's in a self-directed IRA, especially a Roth, or tax deferred if it's a traditional or a solo 401k, stuff like that. So guys, that's really, I mean, literally that's kind of breaking that down. What am I going to do? I'm going to submit those offers at 58. I'll look at a couple more that have come in from our students and plug them into the 58 or 57, and we'll submit it and see what they say. If we're close, they'll, maybe counter it and do. If we're not close at all, they won't counter it. So that's the thing. They didn't give any pricing guidelines. So based on a lot of these being long-term mortgages, 10, 20, 30 years or newly modified and stuff like that, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't feel bad. Now, maybe they only accept one or two. Hey, one or two's not bad at all. Okay, that's still better than nothing. If it's $300, $400, $500 a month coming in, that covers what your cell phone bill, your electric bill, whatever. That's how you get rich. That's why we look for performing and non-performing loans that we get modified, is the fact that you start whittling down your monthly expenses. If you got $5,000 a month you got to replace to be basically financially independent, that's maybe, that's maybe 10 notes they're paying you $500 a month, or 13 notes after you pay your investors their share. So highly encourage you. It's one thing that we really just spend time on our 3-day class. Is the very first part to show you how to make 6 figures in residual income on a monthly basis by doing it. One deal a month, one performing note deal a month will go a long way if you'll give it time. And we've got people that have done that in 12 months. We got other people have taken them 2-3 years to do it because they're doing this on the side hustle. Hey, everybody's a little bit different. If you're working, that's great. You've got your bases covered. Let's help you use your job, your income, and stuff like that as a stability so that you can build a nice runway to freedom and be an investor full-time if that's ultimately what you want to be. So any other questions, comments, concerns? We're going to wrap up a little bit early on here on Saturday because I don't really have that much more to go through on that aspect. Of course, you want to go double check back taxes, but I'm just going to submit it here because most of these stuffs, I'd be willing to bet the tax has been paid, escrow recovery, stuff like that. So we find that a huge tax bill, we'll just say, no, cancel it and move on. Hopefully this was helpful, guys. And like I said, performing notes is a little less due diligence. You kind of look at the numbers and see what the story behind the story is. These all haven't been performing for a year straight because they just, a lot of them. I mean, if we can look back here, let me go back here. Let's go back and we go to the loan mod date. Okay. You see, if we look at loan mod dates here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 have been modified really. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the last year. The rest have been in the last year to 2 years. That's okay. And then if we look at, do we have any foreclosure dates on this stuff? Or when we look at our loan mature date, $32, $32, $50, 43, $44, $54, $50, $43, $46, $50, $42, $40. Some of these are going to mature pretty relatively quickly. You foreclose on these, they take forever. That's why we discount them. But that's where I make my offers. Of course, if you're using your own funds and you don't want to use other people's money, by all means, you can bid higher than what I have on here. If you're happy making a 7-8% return, great, make a 7-8% return. That's something you could do and be sitting there fine on the sidelines. If you got money sitting in an IRA and you want to do this, there you go, something to do for you. But performing loans, pretty easy, passive. I would really double check on these things. One of the big things that we're going to look at is the payment history. We need to see at least 12 months of on-time payments. If it's not paying on time for 12 months, it's not really a performing loan. And that's why we're requiring this. They just modified in the last year, 6 months. Hey, that's not really a true performing loan based on what we're looking at. Okay. So any other questions, comments, concerns before we let you go here on a Saturday? I want to thank you for tuning in on your Saturday pre-Super Bowl Sunday. we'll do a restream of this across the rest of our social stuff like that probably tomorrow. And if you have any questions, always too, we will have our normal note night in America. We'll be going through some more performing notes from one of our one-on-one coaching students who's working on a portfolio. So you can get registered for that at notenightinamerica.com. That's notenightinamerica.com. And of course, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do so by going to weclosenotes.tv. So let me put this. Thanks, Don. Appreciate you commenting on that. Let me put this in here for everybody. I think everybody on here has been our notenightinamerica.com or weclosenotes.tv. Pedro, I know that you're subscribed to that, buddy. I see when you comment. That's good stuff. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, guys? Who you rooting for? Who you got in the big game? And the commercials? All right, everybody. Well, hey, hopefully, let's help you. Anyone but the Eagles. I can understand that, Don. As a Cowboys fan, yep, I am hoping that don't want the Eagles to win. So thank you, Tony. Thank you, John. Thank you for everybody commenting there on YouTube. Jayla, who else? That's everybody on there. So guys, be safe. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, sorry, can't root for the Giants, but hell, anyway, go out, guys, take some action, make a phone call, book a call with me if you got any questions, and let's help you take your note business to the next level. And if you go out and take some action, buddy, we'll see you at the top. Bye.